there, and welcome. Today, we are going to build your language toolkit. And by the end of this, I promise you'll have all the essential words and phrases you need to talk about your neighborhood with total confidence. Let's get right into it. You know that feeling, right? Someone asks you about your neighborhood and you just blank. You know exactly what you want to say in your head, but finding the right words in English feels impossible. It happens to pretty much everyone. But don't worry, today we're going to fix that. All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to walk through this whole thing together in 5 simple steps. We'll start with the basics, then get into our 3 essential tools: naming places, saying what's there, and pointing to locations. And finally, we'll put it all together so you can sound like a total pro. So, first up, describing our neighborhood. And you know what? The great news is this is way easier than you probably think. You don't need to memorize a million rules. You just need 3 key tools. So tool number 1 is all about naming places. I mean, first things first, right? You've got to have the words. This is the foundation for everything else, so let's stock up our vocabulary. Okay, let's kick things off with the places you probably see, almost every day. We're talking about the essentials. The supermarket for your groceries, a pharmacy or drugstore for medicine, the bank, the post office, and of course, the big community spots like a school, a hospital, or a park. All right, what about when you've got errands to run? You might head to the mall or a shopping center, maybe pop into a bookstore or grab some fresh bread from the bakery. Then there's the convenience store for those quick things, a hardware store for home projects, and, of course, the dry cleaners. But hey, a neighborhood isn't all about chores, right? It's about having fun and feeling safe. So you've got places like the cinema or movie theater, you'll hear both, restaurants, cafes, maybe a gym. And of course, the super important places like the police station and the fire station that keep everything running smoothly. Okay, here's a quick one that catches a lot of people out. Library versus bookstore. What's the difference? It's actually really simple. At a library, you borrow books. At a bookstore, you buy them. That's it. A small detail, but a really important one. All right, so now you've got a bunch of new words. Awesome. But how do you actually use them in a sentence? Well, that brings us to tool number 2, which is all about using the super helpful phrases there is and there are. And honestly, the rule here is so simple. If you're talking about just one thing, you use there is. But if you're talking about 2 or more things, you use there are. That's the whole secret. So let's say there's one lake in your neighborhood. You just say, there is a small lake near my house. See? One lake, so we use is. Perfect. And what if there's more than one? Let's say there are 2 hospitals. You'd say, there are 2 small hospitals between 2 main avenues. 2 hospitals, so we use are. You're getting the hang of this, I can tell. Okay, tool number 3. This is where we get really good. So far, we can name places and we can say that they exist. But to make your descriptions really pop, you need to say exactly where things are. And for that, we need prepositions of place. These little words are like magic. They add so much detail. Saying a cafe is next to the bank or your house is between a park and a post office, it just paints a much clearer picture. And a really useful one is on the corner, which is, right where 2 streets meet. And just like that, our toolkit is complete. You've got the words, the grammar, and the location pointers. So now comes the really fun part, putting it all together so you can describe things like you've lived there your whole life. So let's do a quick practice run. I want you to imagine this, okay? There's a school on a street. On one side of the school, there's a hospital. And on the other side, there's a restaurant. You got that picture in your head? All right, based on that little scene, my question for you is, where is the school? Think about the prepositions we just learned. Which one fits perfectly here? Ready for the answer? The school is between the hospital and the restaurant. Yep, between is the perfect word because it's right in the middle of those 2 buildings. Nice job. Okay, that was great. You can totally describe where things are now, but what if you're the one asking for help? Let's flip the script. How do you ask for a location? You've got a few great options here. The super simple, informal way is just, where's the library? Totally fine. If you want to be a little more polite, you can say, do you know where the library is? Or can you tell me where the library is? All 3 work perfectly. And there it is. That's your complete toolkit. You've got the vocabulary for places, the grammar with there is and there are, and the prepositions to pinpoint the location. You put all those together, and what do you get? Confidence. And that's really what this is all about. You are now absolutely ready to go out there and describe your world in English. Your home, your neighborhood, you got this. So I'm going to leave you with one last question to get you practicing. Using the tools we just talked about, what's the very first place you would show a visitor in your neighborhood? And how would you tell them where it is? Think about it. Thanks for joining me.